Along the Oregon coast, what sparkles on the sand one minute is washed away the next. Like the outgoing tide, time
69 years, 7 months, and a few days.
slips away here, a place where many family secrets
No one would talk about it.
have vanished with the tide. Like a 15-year-old girl, pregnant and unmarried in 1953.
The family was shamed if anything like that was to happen.
But on this day in Newport,
I love you, Mom. Love you
the
too.
tide
So here I am.
has returned.
It's been a while coming.
85-year-old Betty Lorsung is about to meet her oldest son
You're fine.
for the first time.
You're fine.
My mother.
For Jeffrey Taylor,
69 years I've been away. I'm a boomerang.
Go for it.
it's a snapshot from a lifelong journey.
So happy.
First time I was told I was adopted was about 3 years old.
Back to the birth mom
Oh, yes.
I'm just waiting for the biggest hug there ever were.
who wasn't allowed to keep him.
69 years worth of hugs wrapped into one.
I'm so happy. This is the greatest day of my life.
A doorway to the past
Yes.
Oh, yes, I'm so ready.
and the future.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm home. I'm home.
You're home. I'm so happy.
I made it.
I'm so happy.
Best day of my life.
I made it.
I'm
You found me.
It's a far cry from the day Betty's parents learned she was pregnant with Jeffrey.
Oh, my God.
They lived in Coos Bay and were terrified of anyone finding out. They tried to hide the pregnancy, even from Betty's brother.
All of a sudden, my sister Betty was gone. They said, "Where'd she go?" They said, "She went to live with your aunt in Portland. She has rheumatic fever."
She had
Yeah,
Jeffrey.
Yep.
The hospital staff would not let her hold him.
you were such a little baby. I got to see you in the hospital through the window, but I
hate
had
to
to
say
beg
it,
and
but-
beg to do that.
I hate to
Betty never saw Jeffrey again. She returned home to her family and moved on. She got married and had 6 more kids.
Yeah, we were the Brady Bunch, literally, in California in the 70s. Volkswagen bus, going to the beach. We were the Brady Bunch.
And we left her at the
They
beach.
left me at the beach.
Betty left them all in the dark about Jeffrey until she couldn't. History, it turns out, sometimes repeats itself. It did with Betty's daughter, Lucy.
I had a young daughter. I had a daughter when I was 15. Her name's Christina. I kept her. I love her. I actually have 3 daughters, but I found out when I had my daughter that my mom had to give her son up for adoption.
It's very overwhelming.
The revelation shaped Lucy's decision,
Yes.
and it drove her family to search for Jeffrey.
My sisters have tried before with my mother and didn't get anywhere.
That was me when I was little.
Yes.
Jeffrey doesn't have old family photos,
Good-looking girl.
but the pictures in his mind are clear.
Had a wonderful childhood. Wonderful.
And yet, he always dreamed of meeting his birth mom, even more so since his adoptive parents passed away.
And I looked for about 15 years. Could not get anywhere. I'd run into dead end after dead end after dead end.
The biggest challenge was an old Oregon law. The state required adult adoptees to get a court order to unseal adoption documents. In 2014, that law changed. Now all you need is a personal ID to join a mutual consent registry. Jeffrey's family used that resource and social media to finally find Jeffrey.
We were both playing detectives. It was a journey, but it was totally worth it.
This is awesome.
Which brings us here to Newport.
I can't imagine going on and never knowing. It was really terrible.
Betty flew out from Missouri,
So happy.
Yep.
and Jeffrey drove up from California.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled that he's in our family.
The rest of the family came from all over the country.
And I love knowing that my mom's heart is whole now, because that really hurt, knowing that she didn't have her baby.
I made it. I'm home.
A true family reunion.
Yep. You found me.
And
Thank you.
A family secret.
Thank you. 69 years.
That's secret
I got a family.
no more.
I love it.
In Newport,
It's so good.
Katherine Cook,
I got a family.
KGW News.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
In this fast-paced world, we strive for order. When we can't keep up,
You're going faster than me today. Come on.
we smile through it. And the days that take so much out of us we feel empty sometimes fill us with the most joy.
Oh, I think we're missing one.
Life is indeed a paradox. Just ask Monty Sherling.
There's good days, there's bad days, like we all have. Yeah. You know.
Monty's son, 17-year-old Ben, was born with Down syndrome.
Go slow and in control, right?
He means the world to him.
Just the impression that he can leave on the ones. If people are willing to take time and take the opportunity, it's there. And
The Portland Winterhawks
Hey, buddy. Good. Let's go.
are taking that opportunity.
You're going to hang them up, right?
Yep.
Twice a month, head equipment manager Clayton Johns helps Ben
There you go. Attaboy.
help him.
Good job.
I think the biggest thing I've learned from Ben is just, to have some patience. He might take a different path to getting to the same end result that I would get there, but he still gets the job done.
What's up, Ben? How's it going?
For the players, Ben helps keep things in perspective.
He always says have fun out there, and I think that's something that sometimes gets lost when you're playing at this level is fun.
Sometimes some of us will be having a bad day, and that's hard to talk about sometimes, but just a simple fist bump or a nice chat with Ben or whoever it may be, it lightens up our day.
He's part of our family.
Assistant coach Brian Pellerin relies on Ben for the things only he can teach the team.
Everybody needs different voices sometimes to get the message that what hockey's about, and more importantly, what life is about.
And sometimes life opens doors when you step out in courage. Like on this night last May. It was the first night Ben met the team.
I was super nervous for him, but he got out there and he sang well.
He gained a lot of respect from all of our team. For him to get up there, I think that takes a lot of courage, and I think all of us, really noticed that, and I think we all just kind of took that as motivation, and we really wanted to dedicate the game to Ben.
The Winterhawks won that night.
Oh, yeah!
Coach Mike Johnston knew just how to celebrate.
Hey guys, I told Ben, I thought after that anthem, I thought we had to get him down here if we won the game, so I got him right after the game. He did an outstanding job.
Yeah. They really cheered for him, and it just spoke to me on how inclusive the organization and how accepting they were, and they had every reason to be cheering for their win, but they chose to take time out to cheer for him.
Sure, they won the game, but this is why they'll remember it.
And that's where the kind of relationship started.
Earlier this season, after a 9-game losing streak, the Winterhawks once again called on Ben to sing the national anthem. The Hawks won.
When he sings the national anthem, we haven't lost yet, so we might have to bring him back for the playoffs again this year.
It makes your heart feel big.
I'm Nick Feel Happy, dude.
It makes a lot of sense for a paradox. Sometimes it's good to put your dreams on ice. In North Portland, Katherine Cook, KGW News. Sally Tappinen and David Faraday share a lot of history.
She knows Kelly O'Connor.
Oh, yeah. Both went to Lincoln High School.
Look at those legs. Dang. I was like lean, mean.
In the 80s.
I'm still mean, just not lean.
You're still lean and mean. Both had been married before.
I thought I was sort of, the last chapter of my life had been written.
Then found love again.
I remember thinking, love is never going to happen for me.
And both were raised on the same foundation. Really?
These were old houses.
Identical homes.
And they had the same footprint, the same outside.
Built 6 miles apart.
And it's just so funny that we ended up together. Like, it was so meant to be.
Sally grew up in this house in Northeast Portland's Irvington neighborhood.
I took the bus, 2 buses, the 9 that went downtown and another bus to get up to Lincoln.
It was during that morning routine that Sally first noticed her house had a twin. Back in the 80s, TriMet used to print photos of historic homes on their bus passes.
I got my bus pass and we're looking and I'm thinking, that house looks an awful lot like my house. And I'm like across the street looking at the house going.
It was the Bennis house in Southwest Portland near Washington Park. David and his family lived here. Architect John Bennis designed the house and lived here first in 1911. A year later, Bennis built the house that Sally grew up in. Not far from there, another Portland icon, the historic Hollywood Theater, which Bennis also designed.
He was quite the architect.
David would know. He's also an architect. So were his parents, who were thrilled to learn of the twin houses. The families arranged to tour each other's homes. Sally remembers.
My parents said, oh, they have 2 sons at Lincoln. I was like, okay,
In high school, Sally and David ran in different circles.
I knew of him. I always thought he was handsome.
But that was about it, until 25 years later, and this chance reunion with David through mutual friends.
And at the end of the night, somebody said, let's all toast to being a single parent. And I raised my glass, and David's like, what?
Oh, why didn't anyone tell me?
After that, one date is all it took.
I looked at him, he looked at me, and it was like, okay, we're done.
Yeah, we both knew.
Most couples don't bring up their past. These guys...
We did. We talked about the house a lot.
Couldn't wait.
We talk about, which family member was in what room.
We had the same bedroom growing up.
There was this big old furnace in the basement.
And when you turned it on, it clanked, clunk, clank, clank.
Yeah, if I had friends over, it freaked them out.
In 2015, Sally and David got married, excited to build their own home together. They didn't plan for what happened next.
A year after we got married, David came down with stage 3 cancer.
It was colon cancer. David had just turned 50 and hadn't wanted to get screened.
Basically, I'll deal with it later, and it goes away. Luckily Sally's like, you got to get this.
At first, doctors thought the cancer had spread to David's liver. The news was grim.
So for about 2 weeks, I thought I had maybe just a few years to live.
I just thought it was so unfair because I'd finally found my person, and I was like, there's no way you're taking my person away from me.
Then doctors learned David had a fighting chance, and fight he did.
But it was a year of chemotherapy, surgery, radiation, more surgery.
Today, David is cancer-free.
This is all just bonus, the rest of my life. When you're, sorry, it gets emotional because you've made peace, with that being the end of your life, and so yeah, it changes your attitude.
It's hard not to look back on history and marvel at what we've learned.
It doesn't matter what house you're in, but it's what you do inside the house that makes it your home.
The blueprints we tried to follow.
You can plan your life, but just, it's so much of it's luck.
The foundations we build that give way.
She was my rock.
To something stronger. It all leads us down a path we never could have planned. In Southwest Portland, Katherine Cook, KGW News.